Oh, okay. Um, okay, let me go ahead and get started. All right, the court is calling cause number 2020 DCM 1208. This is a hearing on a petition filed by the Attorney General's office. It is a petition entitled Suit Affecting Parent-Child Relationship. Parties in this case are Luis Avila and Angelica Avila. There appears to be one, two, three, four children in this case. Um, Let the record reflect that this matter was scheduled for a final hearing today, October the 6th at 8 o'clock, and then on Zoom, it was scheduled for 9:15. It is now almost 9:55. Ms. Avila is present before me on the Zoom application. However, Mr. Avila, Luis Avila, has not signed in on the Zoom application. And the return indicates that he was served with citation back on May the 27th of this year here in El Paso, Texas. Mr. Avila has not filed a response or a petition to or answer to the petition and is not present at this time that the case is being called for a hearing. My name is Antonio Rodriguez. I am the Associate Judge for the Title 4D Court here in El Paso, Texas. And we are proceeding on this hearing here today based on the Zoom application since we cannot appear in court because of the current pandemic crisis. However, the Supreme Court of the State of Texas, the Office of Court Administration, and the local Council of Judges have permitted the courts to conduct remote hearings. In this case, we're doing so on this Zoom application. This matter is being transmitted or live streamed through the YouTube channel. That is to comply with the Texas rules that we have to keep courts open to the public. However, as soon as we finish this hearing here today, it will be taken off the YouTube live stream. I'm also recording the evidence on this computer-generated recording system, and I'll ask parties to conduct themselves according to normal procedures if they're in court, and not to talk over each other because sometimes audio may have some difficulties. In addition to that, sometimes because the computer situation, we may get cut off or we may taken off the YouTube channel or the Zoom application. If that should happen, just go ahead and sign back in and I'll let you back into the proceeding. All that being said, those are the general rules in every single case. At this time, I'll ask the Attorney General to make an announcement on this matter. Mr. Knopf.
Douglas Knapp, the Office of the Attorney General, ready to proceed, requesting a default hearing in this case.
All right. And Ms. Avila, are you ready to proceed in this matter as well, ma'am? Ms. Avila?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Before we get started, I'll ask you to please raise your right hand so I can swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You can put down your hand, please. Thank you. All right, Mr. Knopf, go ahead.
State calls Miss Angelica Avila. Ma'am, could you please state your name for the court?
My name's Angelica Avila.
What are the names of your children before the court today?
It is Luis Angel Avila, Eduviel Avila, Iris Avila, and Sebastian Avila.
And when were each of those children born, respectively?
Luis Angel is June 1st of 2002. Eduviel is August 11th of 2004. And Iris is March 3rd. March 16th of 2006. And Sebastian is November 11th of 2019.
Who is the father of these children?
The father is Luis Carlos Avila.
Could there be anybody else?
No.
Were you and Mr. Avila ever
Excuse
married?
me. Yes, we were married. Well, we still are. I'm in the process of divorce, but we were
When did
married.
you get married? Oh,
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I was married in January 8th of 2002.
January 2002,
Yes,
and you have not been divorced.
not yet. I'm in the
So all
process.
of these, so all of these children were born during the marriage.
Yes.
When did you and Mr. Avila separate as a couple?
We separated in February of 2015.
Have you lived together since that time?
No,
Do you know where Mr. Avila is right now?
I know he was deported in Mexico. He's currently living with his mother.
Where do your 4 children live right now?
They live with me.
Who makes the day-to-day decisions for these children?
I do.
Has Mr. Avila ever attempted to co-parent and help make decisions for these kids?
No, not at all.
When was the last time he saw the children?
He saw them. They were with him this weekend, Friday and Saturday, actually.
Excuse me, Ms. Avila. I'm hearing some background noises. Is there any way we can minimize that background noise, please?
Just a minute. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm at work. I'm trying.
Okay. No, I understand. Thank you, ma'am. Go ahead, Ms. Knopf. Mr. Knopf.
So does he see the children fairly regularly?
No, he hadn't seen them since he got out. The day he got out, he saw them that day, and then he saw them this past weekend, which has been like about a month in between, I would say.
You say when he got out, was Mr. Avila incarcerated?
Yes, he was incarcerated for about a year.
And when did he go in?
When was he incarcerated?
Yes.
I know it was September of 2019. I don't know the day exactly. I believe it was either September or August, but it was around there.
But you're saying that he was in jail for about a year between 2019 and 2020?
Yes.
Has there ever been any family violence between you and Mr. Avila?
There was. There's been physical violence and I would say a lot of mental abuse towards my children um, and towards myself.
When did the last incident of family violence occur?
It was about, I would say, a year and a half ago, the last time.
Do you feel any safety concerns about you being near Mr. Avila?
Myself, yes. Mm-hmm.
Would you have any safety concerns about leaving your children alone with their father?
I think they would be okay with him. I just don't want to have myself in contact with him.
Changing gears a little bit, how are the children covered for health insurance?
I have Medicaid for all 4.
Do you have access to a private insurance policy which could cover these kids?
Not for them. Excuse me.
Do you know if Mr. Avila has access to private health insurance right now?
Most likely he doesn't.
Where does Mr. Avila work?
And that I know of, he's currently not working. But I really don't know much about his life, what he does.
Do you know what type of work he does?
Well, when we were married, he was a construction worker.
Do you know if Mr. Avila has any special certifications or education?
No, he doesn't.
Do you know if he has any sources of income other than a regular job?
Well, his mother gives him money and his girlfriend. But other than that, I don't know where else he would be getting any income.
Do you know if Mr. Avila has any children besides these four before the court?
Yes, that I know of, he has two additional children.
Do those children live with him?
Not that I know of.
Do you know if he pays child support for those kids?
I know one of them had the order for child support. The other child, I'm not sure about.
And since you and Mr. Avila separated, has he sent in any money to help support you, the children, or the household?
Not at all.
And making sure that I'm hitting all my points here. Would the disclosure of your address in the final order of this court lead you or the children to an increased risk of harm or harassment?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes. The court orders typically have your contact information included in them. Would you want that disclosed in the court order, or would that cause you or the children any kind of risk of harm?
I'd rather keep my contact information private.
Understood. No further questions for this witness. State will rest subject to a brief close and recommendations.
All right. Ms. Avila, you mentioned a couple of times that you were in the process of getting a divorce. Has a divorce been filed?
No, I'm going through legal aid. I've started the process with them, but we're pending some paperwork.
Okay.
I'm so
All right.
sorry about that.
Okay.
Just about. I'm sorry.
Okay. You mentioned, ma'am, I didn't get the number of other children that Mr. Avila has.
Yes, two additional children that I know
Two?
of, that he had during our marriage.
Okay. And you said that one is under a court order for support?
That I know of, yes, one of them
Okay.
had it.
Okay. And these two other children, are they older? Are they younger than, how old are they? Are any of them over 18 years of age?
No, I think one of them is my son's age, around 10, 11, and the other child is about 3 or 4 years old.
Okay. Um, as far as visitation with the children, how do you feel about Mr. Avila being able to visit with the children?
I I don't really like it, but he is their father, and my children want to see their father. So I don't want to go against their wishes. I don't want to be in the middle of that.
Okay. You mentioned that he saw them or spent some time last week, you said?
This weekend.
Okay. Tell me about how did y'all work that out? How did you work that out and
I
how long
have,
did it visit?
I'm sorry, I have communication with the grandma, his mother,
Okay.
and well, mostly they have communication with her. So they asked for her to pick them up at my house, and she's the one that takes them with her.
Okay. So he actually did spend time with them.
Yes, he did spend time
Okay.
this weekend with them.
It's not as if he dropped them off at grandma and took off somewhere else.
Well, that I don't know if he was actually with them because she's the one that took them. Um,
Oh,
so she, I just ask, I call my children to see if they're doing fine and if they're okay,
okay.
but I don't really ask if he's around.
Okay. How would you feel about either him picking up the children and returning them, or
No,
um,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Tell me how you wish to do the, what we call the pickup and drop off.
Right. No, for pickup, it's either they can go with grandma and she can pick them up, or I can drop them off at grandma's house, but not directly with him.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Okay. Mr. Knopf, that's all the questions I have for Ms. Avila. Do you have any other questions for her?
Nothing further for this witness.
Okay. All right. Okay. Based on the evidence presented here today, I'm going to appoint Ms. Avila sole managing conservator of the children. I'm doing so because of the testimony concerning family violence in the past and his incarceration in the past as well. As far as visitation, I'm going to order that all such visitation between Mr. Avila and the children be supervised either by Ms. Avila or any other person that she designates to supervise the visitation. If you want the grandmother to be able to visit, to supervise visitation, that's fine. Or if you yourself want to supervise the visitation, that's fine also. Children are over the age of 3, so it'll be the standard visitation schedule. Well, first of all, let me back up a little bit. Any such visitation be at times, reasonable times and places that the parties can agree upon. And failing such an agreement, then it'll be standard visitation with the conditions that it be supervised. Now, does Mr. Avila have any problems with abusing alcohol, drugs, or anything like that?
Not that I know
All right.
of. Excuse me.
So, supervised visitation, that's standard possession order. Now, he does live in, as far as you know, he does live in Juarez?
Yeah.
Okay. Further, that children are not to be taken to outside of El Paso County, specifically not to be taken out of, not to be taken to Juarez at this time. There'll be no geographical restriction imposed on Ms. Avila at this time. I will grant her request for non-disclosure of any of her information not to be disclosed in the court order that is to be issued in this case. All right, child support obligations, what's the state's recommendation, Mr. Knopf?
As we don't have a solid income picture for Mr. Luis Avila at this time, the state is going to recommend that child support be set using the minimum wage presumption. We do have testimony that he is at liberty at this time, could be earning income, and should be supporting his kids. Therefore, the state is going to recommend that child support be set in the amount of $323 beginning November 1st, 2020, and continuing monthly thereafter. And medical support should be set at $75 per month, beginning that same date and continuing onward. As neither party has access to private health insurance at this time, state is going to recommend that kids continue to be covered under the appropriate government health care assistance program. We have testimony that in the past 4 years, Mr. Avila was incarcerated for one of those years, but was at liberty for the other 3, and thus should have been supporting his kids at that time, during that time. So I'm going to recommend retroactive support in the amount of $11,628 to be paid back at a rate of $109 per month, beginning November 1st, 2020, and continuing until the full amount is paid down.
Okay, tell me again the child support, because it was kind of, there might have been some audio problems.
State is recommending child support of $323.
Okay, 223.
And medical 75.
75 medical, and payment on the retroactive adjustment of $11,628.
$109.
109. Okay, I'll ask you later on how that 109 came up. All right, all commencing on November 1. The court will file the recommendation setting child support obligations as recommended. All payments to commence November the 1st, and all payments must be made through the registry of the court through the state disbursement unit. Mr. Knaus, is there anything else that we need to address that I haven't made a ruling upon?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Avila, do you have any questions on the court's order at this time?
No, everything's clear. Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Knaus, if you will go ahead and prepare the order, I will sign it today or sign it as soon as I receive it. It will be filed with the clerk's office and copies sent to the parties. Is there anything else in this matter, Mr. Knaus?
Nothing further.
All right. All right. And then, so that will conclude our hearing for today. Thank you, Ms. Avila, for your participation today.
Thank you.
Unless there's anything else, that concludes our hearing. Parties are excused. Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Avila. You have a good day.
You
Be
too.
safe out there.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.